Remote SSH commands, bash bind warning, line editing not enabled. I am using bash April 3, 2011 1 and have the following history plugin installed, via bash_it. When I log into an interactive session all is well, but when I run remote commands via SSH host LSALS, for example, I see the following output. When I modify the history plugin with echo e/0033/0143, after each bind call I no longer get the warnings but my console is cleared. Not a huge drawback, but it would be nice to know a cleaner way to suppress this for remote commands.
Having an interactive session is not enough for bind to work. For instance, Emacs shell provides an interactive session which passes the if t1 test, but it does not have the line editing, so any binds in your /bashrc will generate the warnings. Instead, you can check if the line editing is enabled by doing something like this. Is there a simpler / better way?
When you ask SSH to run a command on the remote system, SSH doesn't normally allocate a proprietary sudo t for the remote session. You can run SSH with t to force it to allocate a t. If you don't want to type that all the time, you could add this line to the ssh/config file on your local host. Alternately, you could fix the bash file on your remote system to avoid running commands that presume the session is interactive when it isn't. One way is to enclose the commands in a test that the session has a T.
If there is no line editing, these bind commands themselves are harmless. Suppress the warnings. This is somewhat inelegant, still it should work. Other answers don't agree about the best/sufficient test. My approach circumvents this. It doesn't scale well though. The two commands alone should not make a big difference, but if you had more, like dozens, then a proper conditional would probably be better.
Put the bind commands into an if statement that checks whether the bash session allows line editing.
SSH